Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Good morning, everyone, and welcome again to today's session on
Morning, Inspector.
Thank you.
on using Mentimeter, which is a learning tool, an online learning tool, and an online presentation tool. And I'm going to share my screen with you. Where's the screen sharing? I'll share my screen with you, and I will do some presentation or some explanation using the PowerPoint, and along the line we'll move into the Mentimeter website. So for those who, if you can use your phone and your laptop at the same time, that will be very, very useful for us, because some of the presentation will be presented on the Mentimeter platform. Is that okay?
Yep.
Okay. Let me share my screen. Where are we? Okay, can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very clear. Yeah.
All right, let me move this here. Okay. Oops. It seems as if my presentation is starting from the last. Okay, so in today's training session, we'll be talking about using Mentimeter for virtual learning, and that will be presented by me, Fadidac Jules. I'm an EFL teacher in Bamenda, Cameroon, and I'm mostly known in the West African region as Le Senegalais. And this will be the objectives of our session. The main objective, or one of the objectives, will be to discover Mentimeter as a virtual teaching and learning tool, create a presentation using a Mentimeter, discover different types of questions and the various features of the application, and use Mentimeter with any given video conferencing platform. Those are some of the objectives that we'll cover in during this session. And what is Mentimeter? I just want to give a brief introduction to this application. It's actually a free online presentation tool that is very fun and interactive. Interactive in the sense that in the course of the presentation, the presenter and the audience, they interact on whatever topic is going on. In the context of a classroom, during a lesson presented through Mentimeter, the teacher and the learners, so the teacher and the students, they are all interacting in the presentation, and they are all sharing information. And it's also a tool that helps the teacher or the presenter to quickly and accurately gather responses from their audience. In other words, when you are using Mentimeter and you want to present, you want to gather responses, you want to get the feedback from your audience, it's a very good tool to do that. At the same time, you're doing your presentation. And secondly, it can be used to collect a wide variety of responses in an anonymous way. I like this particular feature, the anonymous aspect of it, because most of it in our classroom, especially with large classes, some students are very shy to speak up. Some don't like when they are asked to stand up and express themselves or to provide answers to a question. Now, using a tool like Mentimeter, you give the opportunity for every student to speak up, for every student to make their voices heard, and in an anonymous way. When the student knows that, okay, this response is not going to be directly linked to him or her, that student can be motivated to speak up. And it's also best suited to use during an event for those who organize conferences, workshops, training sessions. We could just organize a TFS webinar using just the Mentimeter. In that situation, in that particular context, the presenter will not just be the only person doing something, but the presenter and the audience will all be engaged in the presentation. So that's about Mentimeter. And lastly, in the context of a classroom, it's an excellent tool for practice and assessment. I love to use it for practice and assessments in the sense that once you're done teaching, once you're done presenting the context and analyzing the item you're teaching, Mentimeter can serve as an excellent tool to switch into the practice. It could be quizzes, it could be asking questions, getting their feedback, asking whether they understood or not, and every student will be able to provide their opinion, and the teacher can be able to assess whether the lesson has been understood or not. We'll look at that when we get into the presentation itself. We'll see how a teacher can be able to assess whether learners have understood the lesson or not by having concrete statistics. It could be percentages, it could be in form of a chart, it could be in form of, whatever form the teacher wants to have the results or the various form available on the platform. Now, in order to do a Mentimeter presentation, what do we need? Of course, we need an account. And an account on the website is true that we have some professional or some options that are paid, but the free account can be used to do some basics or some basic training in the classroom or some basic activities. And we also need a list of questions we want to ask. Before you engage into or you start preparing the presentation, you need to come out with a list of questions you need or a list of activities you want to. And this goes the same direction with every other activity that we do in our classroom. We take time to prepare, we take time to get ourselves ready. And we also need that the learners will be able to access to the internet, have all access online. This is the downside of it. But of course, if we are talking about online learning, definitely online learning will come with every other thing that is included. That is internet connection, phones, tablets, and whatever gadget we may need to get online.com. That's a website that you as the trainer or as a teacher or as a presenter you use. Why the students use menti.com. So when a teacher prepares a presentation and is ready to go live, where the student will have access to the presentation is menti.com. Where the teacher actually prepares the presentation is on mentimeter.com. Now, when you want to create an account on Mentimeter, when you enter mentimeter.com, this is the first thing you have on the website. It asks you to sign up, and if you have an account already, you ask you to log in, so you've got to sign up. And now when you click on learning more, it's going to take you to their blog where they give you where you have a lot of notes on how to use Mentimeter and all the various features. Now, when you sign up as a new user, it will take you to create a free account. You've got to create a free account either by using Facebook or by using your Google account. And of course, you enter all whatever relevant information we need there, like the email address, passwords, and name and every other thing, and you sign up to create a presentation. Once that is done, you get to create a presentation. Now, this is a word cloud, which is a type of question. I'll get back to this word cloud when I must have presented something on Mentimeter. I will get back to this particular presentation. So I'm going to stop sharing PowerPoints for now, and I'll move directly to the Mentimeter website. Is that okay? Am I being understood?
Yes, great.
Yes, thanks.
I just want to make sure that I'm not talking to myself.
No.
No, you are talking to us.
Okay. So here we are on the Mentimeter website. Can you see my screen?
Yeah. That's okay.
Okay. Yeah, okay. So we are on the Mentimeter website, and here I assume that you've already created your account, and that you're
Fadidac, we're still on your PowerPoint. Did you want
really
to go to the website? Because it's still showing your PowerPoint. So you have to stop share.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then take us to the website.
All right, I have to share the website.
That's right. You need to find the website, share it. Okay.
Is that okay?
Yep.
Great.
Yeah, great.
Okay, so we are here, sorry, on the website, and I assume that you've already created your account and you've logged into your account. And this is all about Mentimeter. It's not a complicated website to use. These are just all the features. And what you have here is a new presentation if you want to create one. And you have here a new folder. The folder is, of course, serve the purpose of a folder as we know it is where you organize your stuff. You organize your articles, your presentation. You can organize them. Here I have my stuff. Then I have the TFS webinar. That is the Teaching for Success series webinar. And means that whatever presentation I create for this particular webinar will go into this folder. So we have a branding color, not that really necessary. So this is how the platform will present itself. Now I'll get into the folder, and I will take a new presentation, right? Create a new presentation. That's what it is. And the presentation, you give it a name. Let's say you are preparing a lesson on conditioners, right? There you've created your presentation on conditioners. Great. Now this is the presentation. It is in the TFS webinar, and if you have to get back to the home tab, you go to the home tab. Now the presentation is, if you are used to PowerPoint, you find this very, very easy because it follows almost the same logic. You can add slides here. And if you have upgraded, if you are using the paid version, if each time you see a symbol like this, it tells you that that particular feature is for the paid version. If you have if you have the paid version, you can import your PowerPoint. If you import your PowerPoint, if you have prepared your presentation beforehand, you import your PowerPoint, you have it here. Like the PowerPoint we had earlier on, if I import it here, there we're going to have it. Now, on your right in your screen, you have the various type of questions. You can decide to have multiple choice questions, word cloud questions, open-ended questions, skills, ranking, question and answer session if you want to run a question and answer session, or you can have a quiz competition, or you can find an option where the audience or the students will have to type the question themselves. And of course, this is the content of the slide, the heading, the paragraph, and everything. Now, when you get to the type, for example, let's take the multiple choice. We want to set a multiple choice question. We have the content. In the content, you have the question to ask. For example, I prepared some question here. Let me see whether I can have it. My document. Okay, here we go. I can ask this question. This lesson on conditioners, I guess. No, it's not on conditioners. It's on using a coordinating using despite, in spite of, even though. Okay. Now, this is a question. They only known each other for 2 months. They got engaged. Now, these are the various options where I want the learners, the various options I want to choose from this option. I will have to input the answers. We have despite, We have despite, in spite of, and even though. Let me paste it here. These are the three options you're giving to your audience or to your learners. You can add additional options if you have more than 3 options. And of course, as you're working, you don't need to be saving because the presentation is automatically saved. Now, for each option, you can decide to attach a visual, a picture or a video. Here, you click here to attach a picture or to attach a video if you think that that particular answer will need that video or that image to be answered. Then you can decide also to customize it by choosing at what particular time the vote will be ended. And of course, there are some features that actually require that you use the paid version, which are not really necessary if you are doing a simple presentation. And once your presentation is ready, you add another slide here. And of course, multiple choice. You set a second question. Let me take a second question. Question 2, she passed her driving test. She made a lot of mistakes. I still have the very options. I have despite, in spite of, and even though. Then, oh, before I get there, here you have to choose what is the right answer. Below, show the correct answer, right? If we think they've only known each other for 2 months, they've got engaged. Now we have 3 options: despite, in spite of, and even though. We know that the answer here is even though. Now you have to give the extra and you select what the answer will look like. That's the answer. Then you can decide that as your learners are answering the question using their phones or their laptop, that the result will be presented in percentages. How many percent answered despite, how many percent answered in spite of, and how many percent answered even though. This is very important because it helps you to evaluate whether your lesson has been understood or not. Assuming that you have 50 learners, like in my context, and all the 50 learners are answering, and each of them for that particular question give, and we have 10% that answers even though, 30% answers in spite of, and no, let's say 10% answer even though, 40% answers in spite of, while the remaining 15% answer despite. Now realize that among your learners, only 10% of your learners understood that particular question. Now it tells you automatically that something is not right with your use of, with the lesson on in spite, despite, and even though. This already helps the teacher to evaluate the outcome of the lesson. Now, you can also, at this particular level, we'll get to, maybe I'll present that at the end, but let me just mention it. With Mentimeter, you will see here that at the top of the presentation, you see a code, 622470, 76 rather. Now, this is a code you send to, the learners or to your audience, and that they will use to access the presentation on menti.com. Let me see, there's a chat there. I want to make sure that, okay, I've tried Mentimeter for free. However, when I went to first slide, they said I can only continue if I pay. Can we go beyond first slide free? Okay, how much is paid version? How much is a paid version? Okay, we'll get to that later on. Thank you for the questions. This code is only lasts for 4 hours. After 4 hours, you have to reset the presentation and obtain a different code. But then you can extend the validity of the code. Now you can extend the validity of the code by here, you expand it. You can expand to 2 days, 7 days, and of course, 14 days when you are using the paid version. Talking about the paid versions, I have a question in the chat. Somebody said they've used it should be, okay. Mr. Roger said he's tried it for free. However, when you went up to first slide, they said he can only continue if he pays. That's true. You can only continue.
It's Robert.
It's Robert. Robert. You're welcome. Well, the name I saw there is Roger Temgwa. Maybe you have a different name. I don't know. Okay. But then you cannot go beyond first slide, as you're saying. If you go beyond first slide, you have to create a different presentation. That is, I would say, one of the cons of using Mentimeter. As great as it is, of course, somebody has to pay the bills for the developers and all those who are involved. But if you have to use more than 4 slides, you need to create a different presentation. And how much is a paid version? James, the paid version should be, I think, $9 for the basic, for $9 each month. If I'm not mistaken, that is billed annually. That should be about $108 per year. In CFA, that will be around 60,000 francs a year. Okay, let's continue. I was saying that if you have to extend the validity of the code, you have to click on share, right? And you expand the validity of the code either to 2 days, 7 days. 7 days, you have the message feature proofed. For 7 days, the code can be accessed. So this is creating a presentation on Mentimeter, and that's all about it. It's not complicated. Here, let me just set the right answer. She passed her driving test, even though we have here show the results in percentage, and that is the right answer. Our presentation is getting is ready to go live. It means that if you send this particular code to you, you'll be able to access the presentation. Now, before I move on, let me just send the codes, or if you are seeing the codes, can you go on menti.com and insert that particular code? Are you getting me?
Yeah, it's clear. Let's try. But I don't see the code.
Yeah, the code is 6224. It's just at the top of the presentation, 622476. Go on menti.com. Are you there?
Still trying to do so.
Fadidac, can you show the code again?
622476.
Yes, I am there.
Great.
I've answered.
Sorry, Fadidac,
Yes.
you said menti.com.
Yes.
Mentimeter or just Menti?
Just Menti, M-E-N-T-I, just Menti.
Okay.
That is a website used by the students.
Okay.
Yes. Fadidac, I've answered. Have you seen my answer?
Yeah. And if you look on your screens, you will see that your answer is there. Can you see your answer?
Yes, 100%.
100%.
Ah,
Fatih, are you there?
not yet.
Two people, the second person has answered.
I've also answered.
Yep. Fatih, on your, you have just to type menti.com, N-M-E-N-T-I.
Yeah, that's what. So it's download. I'm still downloading.
No, you don't need to download.
No, I wrote it on Google Chrome. Yes or no?
Yeah,
Yes.
Google Chrome. Just
Yeah.
open a page on Google Chrome.
Fadidac.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, Fadidac, just to tell, she should type it and then go to join a presentation.
Ah.
When you type it, you're going to see many pages coming. Then you go to join a presentation.
Presentation.
Okay, so what is the code?
The code is
622476. 622476.
Let me go back again.
Oh.
Fadidac, after answering the first question, I've been asked to sign up for Mentimeter. Is that what it's supposed to be?
Yeah, just hold on. Let us wait for Fatih.
Okay. All right.
Are you there, Fatih?
I can see, but the code 6.
Enter
Okay.
the code.
No, yeah. Please, can you repeat the code, please? 6.
62. 24.
24.
76.
76.
Great.
That's it?
Yes.
Okay. Ah, yeah.
Okay, you got it?
Yeah, I got it.
Brilliant. Now it will definitely tell you to submit, and
Yeah.
okay, you can go to the next stage because I actually started with the second question, so it's skip the first question.
The second. Hey. I came back again. Let me write
Yes.
it.
I
can't see the second question.
It's because we started on the second question, Robert. I said just only 2 questions.
Yes.
Great.
I went back. Wait, 62. 62.
Okay.
24. 7. 62. 24. 7, 6.
Okay. So when you submit your question, you actually ask you to sign into Mentimeter and see the results. Of course, when you sign in and when you have an account, you will see the results of the presentation.
We should click on that.
Yeah, you can click on that and exit. Since you don't have an account, you can do that later on. I just wanted to demonstrate how presenting a multiple choice question will look like. If we had started on question 1, we'll move from question 1 to question 2 to question 3 to question 4, and the audience or your learners will keep on answering the question as they are unfolding. Is that okay?
Okay.
Is there any question?
It's okay for me.
Okay. Great. I'll get back into the folder and try a different presentation and using a different let me just put this one feedback.
Mm-hmm.
And I will use, the presentation I will use this time around is the type, I will use the word cloud. This is actually the one I love the most. With word clouds, I will stop sharing my screen here and then I will get back to sharing my PowerPoint. Okay. With word cloud is another type of question you have, or another format of question you have on Mentimeter, and it's good because it helps to, you can use it to introduce your classroom. You can use it as an icebreaker to kickstart your student engagement, for example. For example, you can get to class and ask a student what is their favorite meal or dress or color, and you do that particular, you get the feedback on Mentimeter. Now, when you get the feedback on Mentimeter, what happens is that you get the answer in the form of a word cloud. We'll try an example later on. I just want to give some few activities that we can use word cloud with. You can ask your students what's their best show on. For example, a TV channel that you have in your context. In my context, you can ask the student what's their best show on Novella TV, and or what's their best show on I don't know, Equinox TV, and you may you may limit the number of words that they will use. You can ask them what's their favorite weekend activity, and you ask them to give it in one word. It could be dancing, partying, reading, traveling, and you limit the number of words they're supposed to use. You could ask them a statement like, I love when my English language teacher is absent because I spend time doing, and you limit the number of words they will use. They could use 1 word, 2 words, 3 words, and so on. That's for an icebreaker or starting your lesson. You can also use word cloud to help your students connect with each other through questions that will help them to share their experiences, share their opinions, share their emotions, but through words, through limited number of words. And this also is very good because with students of, let's say with adult students or students in the higher secondary, it can help them in activity like summary and directed writing. It can help them to be able to summarize their thinking, their opinion in just few words. For example, you can ask them who has had the most impact on your life, their father, their mother, and any person who is related to them. What's your biggest dream in life? In 1 word, 2 words, 3 words. And here it will depend on the size of the audience. If you have a class of 50, 1 word will be enough because you have 50 different words appearing in the form of a cloud. And that will help give a visual, a visual analysis of the words. You can also ask them what words would you like others to use when describing you, right? These are actually statements that help learners to express their feelings, to express their emotions, to express their inner opinions in very few words. You can also ask them why they attended this session. I think we'll try this particular one. Why did you attend this session? That's respond in 3 words at most. We can also use word clouds to ask questions like, what character trait do you look for in a new friend, right? When you're looking for a new friend, what is a character trait? The sympathy, love, I don't know, friendship, whatever. And this is good for a vocabulary class. When you are teaching a given vocabulary, I want the student to provide vocabulary in a given context. You can use questions like this, and you can use word cloud to have the feedback with students. You can also use word clouds for group work. This is good for breakout sessions like Zoom. If you set a questions, for example, if you provide a discussion topic, you can break the students into different groups and you put them into different Zoom, into different rooms in Zoom, in different breakout sessions. Now they will brainstorm on the topic, come out with their ideas. Then you can limit the number of words that will be used by each group when they come back, when they are providing their feedback. Remember, when they are providing their feedback, they'll provide their feedback not when they come back to the general session. They'll provide their feedback while they are still in their room. Now, since they are using Menti.com to provide the feedback, all the other learners will be able to access that particular feedback. And as I said, the group research and brainstorm the topic, and then they provide their answer. Now, you can also use word cloud to summarize a lesson and gather student feedback. For example, what's one thing you learned from today's lesson? At the end of a lesson, you want to get their feedback. What did you learn today? Just one thing in a word. And from the cloud of words that you receive, you can be able to understand what was understood by the students, what was not understood by the student. And you can ask them questions like, what's the theme of a poem or a text in one word? If you are teaching literature, you can teach a literature text and you ask the theme of that text. It could be a poem, it could be an extract of a drama text or prose or whatever. You want to have the theme. You can ask them to describe the main theme of today's reading in one word. This is good for reading comprehension. We teach reading and you want to summarize the theme of the reading. What a Mentimeter through word cloud can be an excellent tool. And finally, you can ask them you could ask what the characters are discussing in a particular novel. For example, I'll Marry When I Want by Ngugi wa Thiong'o and Ngugi wa Miri. This is one of my best play. Okay, you can, in teaching this, you can summarize, the discussion through word cloud. Is that okay? I will stop sharing this.
Yeah, very good. That was great.
Then I'll go back to okay, here we are. We want to form a word cloud, and this is our question. For example, I want to see what let me see, what are the various online learning tools? Okay. Now, I have to set the number of entries. 3 participants, 3, right? And I can decide to let the participant enter the answers as many times as they want. And of course, can customize it. This is not really interesting, not really necessary. And I can add image if I deem that is necessary. Then I can decide to expand the access to this particular presentation to 7 days or 14 days at most if I'm using a paid version. So let's give this one a try. We'll get back to our on our menti.com. What are the various online learning tools? I'm talking about maybe those that we've covered so far in our TFS webinars. The code is, James was asking earlier on what was the code. This is your code, right? The code is 262420. Can we go there?
Fadidac, there is a problem. We need time to sign up for me.
No, you don't need to sign up.
It appears you can't go further if you're not signed up.
No, because you are using the,
okay, well, since this
is a different code. Hello, James.
All right. Yeah, it's okay now.
All right, okay.
Thank you for that clarification.
if you can look on my screen,
I have
realize,
submitted Fadidac.
yeah, you will see the different words or the different sites coming in the cloud. Can you see it on my screen?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see. That's excellent.
Yep, and I submitted mine.
Yeah, I can see WhatsApp, Skype, Flipgrid, Kahoot, Google Classroom, Padlet, Zoom. Great. That's excellent, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Now I will try another words cloud. Now, this is one feature that you can do, right? You can download the results of your presentation either in PDF, that is free, I think, or Excel. But Excel is not free. Excel, you have to use the paid version. So you can download your results in PDF. Okay. Are you seeing my screen?
Yeah.
Great. This is, I'll click on downloads. I have export PDF and export using Excel. The Excel sheet is for paid version, but the PDF, you need just to click there and you have.
Is that possible even if it is not paid?
Yes, with the PDF, this is our result that I've downloaded. Can you see my screen?
All right. That's great.
Can you see?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is my result. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, yes, Robert, are you saying something?
Oh no, I was just answering yes.
Okay. Let's get back to the feedback. I'm going to ask another question and we'll give it a try. I'm going to add another slide, right? I'll use word cloud. And the question I'm going to ask is a question I use in PowerPoint. Let's take the one that will give us as. Okay, let's use this question. We'll use this question. What character trait do you look for a new friend? You're allowed to enter use three entries. And great. The code is still the same code, 262420. Right? And there we go.
Yeah.
Are we there? Has everybody answered?
I've done that.
Okay. Okay, Robert is saying he has a 3-question Mentimeter. Robert, can you send us a code? Hello, Robert.
Hello, I'm opening it, Fadidac.
Okay, all right. So this is the character traits that we've brainstormed, and this is our result. On the right side of your screens, you have download results, or you can reset. If you click on reset, it will reset that particular question, and the question will be answered all over again. Or you download your result, which will take you to the download page, and you decide whether you're exporting it in PDF or you're exporting in Excel. Excel, as I said, is a paid version. PDF is a free version. With PDF, there you go. You have your PDF.
21. Fadidac?
Yes.
The code is 218738.
Yeah, 218738. Robert, how are we going to see the results? Will you share your screen with us?
Yes, you might want to give me the, if Julia gives me the right, then I can share my screen.
Yeah,
sure.
So let me stop sharing mine so that you can share yours.
Yeah.
Okay. What is the code again? What is the code again, Robert? Great.
Yeah, the code is on the screen.
Okay.
That's great.
218738. Robert, I've entered my answer and I'm waiting for you to show it.
I've done same too.
Robert will have to show us the next slide.
Hello, Fadidac.
Yes, we've answered the first question. It seems as if there are several questions. We might need the next one.
Oh, the next one. Okay. But
Well,
I can't see you. I don't know why my screen.
The results have not been displayed. Any problem?
Yes.
No, we are seeing your screen. The fun is that you have your presentation has 3 questions, right?
Yes.
So you have to press for us to go to the next question.
How do I go? Do I go to the arrow?
Yep.
Okay, okay. Good. Can you see the next question?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Should I go to the next one?
Definitely. So that's how you go to the next question up till you finish all your questions.
Have you answered?
Yeah, you know, it seems as if the time for that particular question was short. Great.
Yes, I have a word problem. Fadidac, should I stop sharing?
No, go to the next one so that you can present the results. Since it was
I've got all the questions already. There were only 3 questions.
Those are the results I'm seeing on the board. Now we have what we call here the leaderboard, right?
Yes.
Since you were doing a quiz. Now when you are doing a quiz, when you enter the quiz, you are asked to enter your name.
Yes.
Okay. Now when you enter your name for the quiz, at the end of the quiz, we have the leaderboard to see who was the first, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you set up your quiz and you attach the leaderboard feature to it. Because with the quiz, other activities or other exercises are anonymous, but with the quiz, you've got to enter a name, even if it's just a username, even if it's just a fake name. At the end of the day, there is a leaderboard that is the person who presented, who answered, who was the first in the competition.
Yes, Fadidac, but I had a problem. I couldn't see the answers I couldn't see your answers. Why?
I saw the answers.
You could see the answers?
Yeah, we could see are you talking about see the answers where?
On
Yeah,
my
no, we
screen.
can't see the answers, Robert. What are the results? Can you show us the results?
Good, that is it, Fadidac. How do I get to the results now?
Let me see your screen. I think it has to do with the setup of your, okay. When I see your setup, right?
Yes.
You use different types of content.
Yes.
I'm seeing word cloud, I'm seeing quiz, I'm seeing, what's that? Yeah, that's word cloud. Now, to have the result.
Number 1 was quiz, number 2 was word cloud, and number 3 was pool.
Definitely. No, these different type of activities have different type of setup. Had it been that you set up using just only a quiz, for example, at the end you have the result as we had it with the word cloud.
Yes.
Are you getting me?
So for me to have the result, I need to just select only one type.
Use one type. If it's a quiz, you use a quiz from the beginning to the end.
Okay.
If you are going for cloud, use cloud from the beginning to the end. At the last question of cloud, you have your result.
Okay, I see now. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much, Robert.
Not at all, Fadidac. Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Okay, I think we've practically come to the end of our presentation, and as you've seen, Mentimeter is a very simple platform to use. And with students, it's excellent because it gives you the opportunity to have feedback, real-time feedback. You know, you don't need to evaluate or to give an exam in order to understand whether what you taught was understood or not. You can teach, and at the same time, you can evaluate whether your students are getting what you're saying or not, using all the various features as we've seen, using a chart, using percentages, presenting your results in different forms. And if you don't mind, let me just share one thing that I used, one presentation. Of course, the website that I used, they actually gave me the full package to do the presentation. It's actually, this is for essay writing. I love that for essay writing. Where am I? Okay. Let me just take this presentation. When you want your learners to actually say something, the type I love the most is the open-ended type. When you use the open-ended, as you can see from the shadow, the background image, with the open-ended, learners actually say more than a word. They can make a sentence, they can write a paragraph, they can make 2-3 sentences. You can use that in a breakout session. If you use it in a breakout session and you want each group to give a summary of a presentation, the group can come together, summarize the presentation, and present it, you know, as a group work, and they type and send, and this is how it's going to appear on the screen. You remember this, right, Fatih, as we did in Senegal?
Yes.
Okay, so when it appears in block, and the only thing you can ask the group is to sign at the end, maybe by putting the names of those who took part in that particular discussion. And if they are individual and you want that every student, and you want to know who did what, you can ask the student to sign their presentation at the end. Now, if you are using the paid version Excel, with Excel, even without their name, you can export it in Excel and you can be able to trace who actually said what in the feedback. So using the open-ended is a very good form for when you want your learners to say more than a sentence. We want them to express their opinions and their ideas in more than a sentence or in a paragraph. This is an ideal way. You can use this for practice when you teach a lesson on writing, and maybe you teach a lesson on introduction, how to write an introduction. And you can ask your learners to write the introduction and send it through Mentimeter. Now, you might not do that in the classroom, depending on your setup, but you can agree on a particular time with your learners. Let's say the activity will be submitted at 7 p.m. If you all agree on that, at 7 p.m., you put the presentation goes live, and your learners, they submit their introduction. And from the comfort of your home, you can be able to look at and evaluate whether the lesson on the introduction was understood or not. And you can, at that particular moment, you can be able to adjust next time you get into the classroom. So dear teacher trainers, we've come to the end of our presentation on Meter. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you've learned an additional something, and that I hope you use it in your classroom. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Fadidac. I insist. You really are a good inspector.
Yeah, Robert and James open the session for question and answer. If you have any other question or answer, I'll be more than happy to provide any other question. Rather, I'll be more than happy to provide answers.
Okay. Sorry. I wanted to. Is there a difference with Kahoot? A big difference, or they are close?
No, they are somehow close. They are somehow close because Kahoot has almost the same features of Mentimeter, But the advantage with Mentimeter is that you can go beyond just doing a quiz, and that you can have a result in different forms to interpret. In charts, pie charts, bar charts, in percentages, you can be able, you can instantly understand the percentage of your audience that has understood what you are actually doing and adjust accordingly. I think so those are some of the features of Mentimeter.
Yeah, and I think the open-ended function on it, the fact that you can get students to contribute their own answers, I think is a really good feature of this, rather than like do multiple choice and choose the correct answer. You know, how much is that actually going to help them improve their English and actually use their English? But if they have to provide some words or write a sentence, then that's getting them to really think about how to use their answers to actually use their English. So that's what I like about the Mentimeter function. And don't forget, it's also a very useful tool in the training room. I started using it, I think it must have been about 3 years ago, with British Council staff in the training room for staff training. And okay, I'm only limited to a few slides for a free account, but I don't need lots of slides because I make the questions open-ended, so that gives it more substance rather than just having those one word fill in the correct English. If you actually make them open-ended, then I think you can actually turn it into a more useful tool, where they have to actually give words, provide words. That's why I think it can be really useful.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, Fatih.
Okay, maybe you talk about writing. So first, congratulations. This was a great presentation.
Thank
you talk about writing. For example, you talk about the example of introduction. You can even use it in our high school. For example, you can give them a topic and tell them to write everything they know about the topic. Don't worry about grammar, rules, anything else. And after, you can give them the chance to reorganize it into paragraphs. That also is possible.
Yeah. With the open-ended type, you can manipulate a lot of writing stuff with that particular format.
Yes, and it will help a lot, because writing is really a very difficult task for either teacher and students.
Yeah. Any other question?
We'll give it a try and come back to you.
Hand over to Julia. I'm handing over to Julia.
Yes.
Before you hand over, can I ask a question about open-ended questions? When you ask open-ended questions, how do you evaluate them, given that the other options that are automatically evaluated? How will you analyze the results?
No, with open-ended question, I don't think you don't have tools to evaluate, because they are open-ended, right? You are not expecting fixed answers where it's either correct or wrong. They are open-ended. The only advantage is that with the open-ended, you are giving your learners the opportunity to express themselves. You are giving your learners the opportunity for everybody to say something. Unlike in a real life, in an in-person teaching situation, where some learners will not be very courageous and bold enough to raise their hand up and say something, and where you don't have enough time to be moving around and listening to everybody. But with the open-ended, everybody has a chance to say something. Then you are the one who asks the question as the results are coming in. Remember, the results don't come in at once. As the results are coming in, you are analyzing to see whether actually it's in the right direction or not, or whether the answers fall within what you were expecting. And if they are not what you were expecting in a class, for example, you can know how to adjust in the next step of your lesson. Like, for example, if it was hard to write a paragraph.
The answers be anonymous? Would the answers be anonymous for you?
Yes, they are anonymous.
Who knows something? Anonymous, all right.
The answers are anonymous, but you can ask your learners to sign their answers, to put their name at the end of their answers.
That's great.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's good to know who answered what and who knows what. And
Definitely. Just as sometimes it's good to not to know, because when the student knows that the answer will not be linked to him, he can be very encouraged to say something. Because your goal is that they should say something, not who is actually saying it.
That's it. Thank you.
I'm wondering whether it's possible to use it asynchronously. So, you know, for example, you set up a presentation, you know, you've just got one slide and you've got the code and you send that code out to students on your WhatsApp group. They go away and then answer the question.
Yeah, it's possible to use it asynchronously.
Yeah, because
it's
that
possible.
might be, you know, because that would then, you know, because one of the issues in contexts where you're working, where you don't have internet in the classroom, but the students might have internet at home, so they can go home and answer it, and then you can use that, you know, download PDF to then present their answers in the next class.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you can do that, Julia, and that is very interesting in our context because in the classroom you might not have all the gadgets.
Yeah.
And the student might not personally have it, but they can get back home with the code and use the gadget of their parents. The father, their
also, is it true that mobile phones are not allowed in schools anyway?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, so that's the other issue.
Yeah. But they can use a code to access the presentation back at home, and in that situation, you will need to expand the validity of the code to 2 days or 7 days.
Yes, yes, sure.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm handing over to you, Julia.
So thank you so much, Fadidac, for that great presentation on using Mentimeter. And I think everybody's found it very useful. And I think the only thing is to go and try it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think I'm going to set up a few questions on the WhatsApp group for the other participants who could not attend today, as well as send out their recording.
Okay.
Okay. Right, I'll stop recording now.